So, Morgan, I was thinking about this, and I'm so glad we're going to be talking about it because it's not always visible. It's people, it's that friend that you're worried about, that colleague at work. They make these choices, and then they're not going to end well. It's
Mm,
that parent who won't listen, or those adult children, which we both have, or sometimes your sister, not mine, of course. But it's that woman who you love and keeps repeating the same pattern over and over again. And it's
mm,
not just thinking about her once. It's you're carrying her. It's like she's right here on your shoulder. And for
mm.
me, because I'm always on a train or in a car, you're moving around, you're cooking, you're thinking about her, and you're using all of that mental space. Even sometimes when you're with your spouse in your bed, again, Mark, this is not about you, babe, but I'm just saying it happens. It's heavy. It's heavy. And today we're going to talk about that. Why do we feel that we have to be responsible for others that are adults, and how can we let them go without becoming cold? So, if you're game, I am excited about talking about this topic. Welcome to Getting to After. My name is Chatone Morrison. I am the Princess of Positivity, and I love coming into this space to help midlife women
Mm.
feel whole, knowing that their confidence, it's not too late. And even when we talk about topics that might step on your toes a little bit, we're going to do it in such a way that helps your nervous system calm right down. This is my co-host, Morgan Bustos. Go ahead and introduce yourself, girl.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for letting me join you today. This has been absolutely awesome to be here with you guys. Here at Getting to After, where we're midlife women are reminded that healing doesn't have an age limit and that confidence is not reserved for a chosen few. So we welcome all of you to Getting to After today.
Absolutely. So, what we're talking about is it the time to stop being so responsible? And I
Mm,
think that in the past few years, for myself, I've realized something is that we look at adults through the lens of our own experience. And Morgan and I, before going on air today, we were talking about this. I've lived, we've learned, we've made mistakes, and we've recovered. So we think that when someone's heading toward, something we've already survived, we think, oh no, 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 I know how this ends.
mhm.
I can fix this for you. Or maybe it's with children, and I have this advice I want to give you. I know how to make it best for you. And maybe with kids it's one way. We're raising children, and we are going to insert ourselves. And Morgan, you asked me last week, what do I want my children to take away when they watch this? You don't think I'm not inserting myself. I will still, just a little, just a little. But with another adult, it's very different.
And sometimes they don't even know that you're carrying them. You
Right. But yet you got them on your mind all the time. It's like if you imagine having a load of a regular day, you're just going through your regular day, and yet you have a 150-pound sack on your back, but you got to go through your regular day. You got to
Mhm.
go to work, you got to take care of the kids, you got to take care of your husband, or maybe you're a caretaker for your mom, you got to go grocery shopping. And this 150-pound sack is with you all the time.
Mhm.
Imagine how heavy that gets. Now imagine that's another person, right? They're constantly on your mind. You're rehearsing what you're going to say to them next. You're replaying what they said. You're anticipating her next to speak. Or if it's like a person on your back, that's a lot of weight. And
Mhm.
many of us, we just call it caring.
Mhm. And to me, that looks like loyalty.
I know it does, right?
Mhm.
To me too. However, having someone's back doesn't mean you carry them on your back.
Mhm.
There's a big difference.
Yes.
Having someone's back means respecting their adulthood. And I think that a lot of times in midlife, we aren't doing that as much as we think we are. It means letting other people decide what they want. It means sometimes not giving more advice. Maybe they ask for a little, you give them a little, but you don't talk all day or all month about a decision they're making. Maybe it's not giving more thoughts or more ideas. And again, it's hard. And I when I was thinking about this, I said, "Oh my goodness, Chatone, you are a chronic inserter." I am chronic, chronic. I'm like, what about this? What about that? And
Yeah.
the truth is, in midlife, I think many of us do that.
Well, especially like if you're an overgiver like me, we thought like so many times I thrive off of helping other people win. But there's also a part where we forget where we have to remember that we have to stand in line too. Like we deserve to win too. So we can't always be carrying everybody else. And if you're constantly carrying other adults mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, then you can't care for yourself properly.
Yeah,
Like that's something I've definitely had to learn over the years.
yeah.
And then also there's sometimes you just enjoy it. You sometimes you really enjoy taking care of people and you're a giver, you
Morgan, the
know?
funny thing is that a lot of times it ends up being codependence.
Mm.
And, we talked about that, shout out to Melody Beatty with the book Codependent No More. It wasn't until I read that book in the early, I would say it was prior to 2010. I forget the exact year that I got the book. Well, I got the book in the 90s because one of my friends who was highly evolved in wisdom saw that that's where I was going in life early in my 20s. And she gave me the book. And I'll never forget, and I told you this, that I read the first maybe half a chapter. And it probably spoke so hard to my spirit that I closed that book up for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
How dare they say
You're like,
this to me? I just didn't like it at all.
"Who you
Something,
think? What?"
I didn't like that. I didn't like it, right? It wasn't until later on that I realized, oh my goodness, it really is me. And then I was able to change my life because of that book and other programs that I needed to involve myself with. Sometimes we enjoy that. We really do. And I think in midlife, one of the things, because we're going to be talking about lots of things over the next couple of months, but when our kids are growing up, when we don't have as much input anymore, when maybe we're helping financially, but they're making their own decisions, it's hard. And so it's like when we're always anticipating and always analyzing, it's because we kind of like to have control a little bit. Doesn't mean it makes it healthy.
Or that it's sustainable. Like, you can't continue to do that all the time over and over again because it drains you, and it
Yes.
also doesn't empower them at the same time.
It doesn't. It doesn't. So I think in midlife, it is a place where unsustainable patterns really start to hurt us. So if you're able to do something in your 20s, like look at my daughter, who's had many many friends over the years, and some she still has, and as she's getting into her mid 20s, some she has. They've grown away from each other. And I think what's interesting is that as if you can find out early on, like in your 20s or even your teens,
Mm,
what is not sustainable or what starts to hurt you, you won't repeat it. I
mm,
think that this new generation, they'll learn that much earlier, not necessarily in a good way, but we digress. But I think that for many of us, I mean, me being midlife plus you being midlife,
mm,
we didn't learn it. We learned that was being a good girl. We
mm,
learned that was being nice. And then all of a sudden it starts to hurt and we don't know what to do.
mm. That
So
is such
Morgan, oh, go ahead.
No, that's just such a good point because growing up, it's almost like you do and do for everybody else, but you forget to take care of yourself, and you're like, "This doesn't feel right." But then later on, we learn, okay, that's where we have to start inserting some boundaries.
So Morgan, I know that you have often told me that you consider yourself a giver, a
Yeah.
go giver. We're not going to say over giver, but we're not going to judge you. That's not nice.
Mm,
Um, but you yourself have said, I overgive sometimes. So it is a tendency that many of us, especially in midlife, start to feel that we have to be responsible for everyone. If
mm.
you could talk to our girl or that feels that way, what's something that you want to say to her that, maybe some questions you want to ask her or that she needs to answer? Because of course, we always talk about making sure that you have your journal about and finding out those things you want to tap on. What would you say to her?
I think the first thing I would ask her is like, whoever told you that was your job?
Mm,
Like, at what point in your life did somebody make you or tell you that you were responsible for carrying the weight of everybody else? Or that they taught you, or did somebody teach you that being loving meant that you had to carry everybody else's
yeah,
responsibilities? Because those are things that come up for us quite frequently. As women in society, period, I think that we're taught to put ourselves last and to do for everybody else.
yeah,
And that makes us a better person, a better human being. But like, try to think back and then journal on what point do you actually recall somebody saying that to you, you know?
yeah,
That can be helpful, and then you can go back and you can dig deeper on that. Or
yeah.
did somebody teach you that being strong meant that you had to prevent everybody else's mistakes?
Wait. Let me think about that one for a second.
Mhm,
Being strong meant you had to prevent everyone else's mistakes.
mhm.
So that's definitely something that happens in big families.
Yeah, because the
The older
oldest
kids, yeah.
are always responsible for the younger ones, so if the younger one does something, then the older one gets in trouble because they're
Oh,
responsible.
that's interesting, yeah.
Mhm,
So what you're saying is that's something that literally that a woman is carrying that all the way, even though you're no longer taking care of them, or maybe you are, maybe that's why it continues.
mhm, just carrying it on through childhood, from
Yeah.
childhood into your adulthood, because as the
Oh,
oldest one, you're gonna have to be responsible for everybody else's mistakes, so you just are constantly playing this huge game of chess in your mind
yeah.
to make sure that the people around you aren't doing anything to get you in trouble kind of thing. So
Right, right.
sometimes we don't trust other adults to handle their responsibilities, and so it makes it like uncomfortable for ourselves.
So when you, well, I mean, but I mean, that's human nature too, I think. If you
Mhm.
have, I used a metaphor before about carrying something that's heavy on your back. And I think for me, I think it's about this idea that I have to carry as opposed to, a little bit of feedback or something is not wrong. It's figuring out when to take your hands off,
Mm.
like figuring out when to do that.
Yeah, like somebody that keeps constantly asking you for advice over and over again.
The
Are
same
they
advice.
yeah, the same advice. Like, are they asking you for information or that they never actually use? Are they just constantly going to you to seek your counsel, but not never applying it? Like, at what point do you stop giving it? You know?
Right, right. Well, I think a lot of times is at the point when you say, I'm tired. And a lot of times that's how friendships end. And I think one of the reasons why this topic is beautiful for women in midlife is that the older you get, the less friends you have. That's
Mm.
just the way it is. I think the biggest bunch of friends you're gonna have, that clique in school, you're going through the hallways, this big group of people. Um, typically, not always, but typically we don't have that as you get older. And it's
Mm.
not because people are dying, but people are moving away, they're getting married, and your circle starts to get smaller. And also, whereas like say in high school, you want everyone to know everything. Like my kids killed me with this. Everyone knows my location, everyone knows where I'm. Why?
Oh my goodness.
I
Mm-mm.
can't take it. Why do they know where you are? That has nothing to do with the topic, but I'm just saying. But I think as you age, you start to the circle gets smaller.
Mm.
Um, and then and even when you have the circle, there's still going to be the one or two. That's different than you saying, like, I'm going to go take care of all of these aspects, all these things that this person has, or I'm not going to let them experience any problem.
Well, it also is a part of just maturing when you can say to your friend, like, I trust you that you can figure this out. Like, I believe in you. I'm here to support you, but I believe that you can figure this out on your own. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah. What about when you decide, okay, I'm going to draw back and the person now blames you because things didn't work out?
I think that's natural for people, especially when you've consistently been there for them
Yeah.
the whole time and fed them all of the answers for everything. There's going to be that pushback. Sometimes people are going to completely walk away. They're going to be angry at you. They're going to talk badly about you or say that you're a horrible friend. Um, that's just going to happen. But those are
I
just
think
bad.
especially too with kids, it happens.
Oh yes,
Young
absolutely.
adults. Yeah.
Because as children, you did do everything for them all the
Right.
way up. So once you start making those boundaries, or even just giving them, trying to teach them to be those young adults and
Yeah.
that responsibility, they're going to be upset and push back.
Yeah. So I think, for me, one thing you said is that we don't always notice how one-sided things become. But I want to just say if a woman is listening to us right now, maybe you just don't even realize how tired you are, but you're carrying relationships. We're not talking about the everyday carrying. Like what Morgan was talking about, we're talking about that heavy, that person doesn't make any decisions without me. And I
Mhm.
kind of secretly like it. Or I'm so tired of this, but then you check, right? What you checking for? All right. It's time to stop. Is it? Well, I'm going to ask the question. I'm not going to make any demands on you. Is it time to stop being so responsible? Is it time to stop being so responsible? I remember one time, Morgan, that, and I know this sometimes with you, I'll say stuff. Look, maybe I need to stop being so responsible. There's something that you did a couple years back, and I was just so, why? Why? And I've, this is me. Even my little booty is clenched right now. I'm just like, ugh, like why? And it's interesting. The more you really care about someone, and I think because you and I both we help women who have gone through so many things, so many traumas. I mean, here you are thriving on the other side of this big trauma that you had. Um, Relationships have to change,
Yeah.
right? But you've assisted, we've coached many women and so forth. And so as the person starts to even eke into, like just step into more ability, more movement, you have to also at the same time gradually step back. And I think that that's the part that becomes difficult.
Well, and sometimes carrying things makes you feel so important.
Yeah.
you know, and then you have to realize there's one, I think I know what time you're talking about. I was helping one of my friends do some things, and I went above and beyond to make this happen. And when I got there, I called you up and I was talking to you and I was like, I just don't understand. Like, they're not grateful. Like, they had nothing and like showed up. I showed up and I represented, like, to make sure that they were comfortable, that everything was taken care of, to set up their new lives. And and I was like, I don't understand why they don't appreciate it. And I could hear you leaning in on the phone and you said to me, but did they ask you to?
Yeah. I remember that
And I
day.
said, what? And you're like, did they ask you to do it? And I was like, "No, but if I didn't do it, then who else is gonna do it? They're not gonna have anything for their house. They're not gonna have anything for their job. They're not gonna have this and this." And you're like, "But did they ask you to do it?" And I kid you not, that moment plays through my head every time I go to do things for somebody, because there's other people that are able to help. I'm not the one that has to
Yeah.
consistently show up. People rely on me consistently showing up, but I don't have to, and it's okay for the to let them figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
It's part
It's
of growing.
actually Go ahead.
It's part of growing.
It's a part of growing, it's actually loving. And I
Mhm,
think when I think about not being responsible, look, we're Christians, we give. We're
mhm,
supposed to give. It's what we do. But there's a difference between that and taking responsibility.
mm,
And a lot of times I think what happens too, especially with midlife women, is that then if someone doesn't take the advice or do the thing we wanted or use the thing we purchased or they replace it,
mm.
then we are a little frustrated or we give and give and give and they don't even grateful.
Mhm.
And then that's how you know the relationship has become unbalanced. Now, I
Mhm.
think with our young people, it's a little bit different because, of course, we're moms, right? Or you may have nieces and nephews that you've always taken care of. And sometimes in big families, those siblings, but at some point, you still have to say, like, well, they're not seven.
Mm,
I'm not, hand in hand walking them into kindergarten. My sister walked me to school, right? She doesn't do that anymore. And so I think we have to get to that time where our identity, and that's what made me think about this when we were talking about this, because last week we were talking about identity. Where
mm,
does my identity really stem from? Does it stem from all these things I do for other people? Or have I figured out who I am and what I give to
mhm.
myself? And I think when we don't do that, that's when you really start to feel depleted.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay. So the question is, if I stop carrying this person and stop carrying all these responsibilities, what happens to the relationship? So what do you think happens?
Oh, fear. The very first thing that's gonna pop up is fear is gonna start showing up because the relationship only works because of you, right? So when you're not doing your part anymore, the over functioning stops and it's really not working anymore.
Yeah. So I think again, as we talk to mostly midlife women, midlife plus ladies. Um, there's a way in this time in our lives when it starts to expose itself. And it doesn't mean you walk away from everybody. It doesn't mean you change your role. You're no longer a giver. You're cold now and you have walls up all around. But it is something to witness and think about. And I would love for everyone to just journal a little bit, like what are you giving? And who are you being responsible for? How does it feel? Does it feel good? Does it feel like a burden? Does it often feel like you wish they would never call you again and ask for anything? And then you're going to give it anyway because it's a habit.
Mhm.
How does it really feel? Because if you've been a mom for a couple of decades, which most of us have been, it's something that feels normal. It just feels like that's what I do. And I think that's what happened. You, Morgan, you've been a mom for a long time. Like all of not me, I've been a mom less time than you, just a little bit less, but I'm older than you. So you've been a mom a long time. And the majority of the women we work with have been moms for a long time. And
Mhm.
so it just becomes what they do.
It and 2, because we've done that for so long, I think at some point after talking to all these different women, the consensus is if I would've just minded my own business, XYZ wouldn't have happened, or I would still have this friend, or, all of this
Or
anxiety,
these gray hairs wouldn't
high
be there.
blood pressure. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like none of it would have happened.
Yeah. One of the things that we want to encourage if you find yourself in this conversation, if you're like, what are they talking about? Good for you. If this is kind of like tapping you on the shoulder a little bit, remember that dignity starts to begin when you stop carrying everything. when you start allowing other people to live their own lives. One of the things, and I should have brought my book down. One of the things I love about Melody Beatty, what she talks about codependent no more, and there's a few other books I've read on codependency, is that we always think it's the other person, but the codependency requires two people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like one's depend, like one wants it and one like it's a dance. And so when you guide the person in a room in a dance on the lower part of their back, and then you're in step with them, as soon as you become out of step, someone's either going to fall, something's going to happen. The dance no longer looks, it's no longer smooth. It's going to be disjointed. And that's sometimes what we have to do. But that's where dignity comes in. Is dignity for you because you're taking care of yourself, and dignity for them because you're allowing them to be adults. And that's why it's a question. Is it time to stop being responsible? We can't answer that for you. You and I have both gone through this.
Right.
That's what we're talking about, right? But it is delicate. It can be a very delicate thing, and it can take a big toll on you, especially if you feel that that's where my identity lies. It lies in the fact that I'm that person. Everyone relies on me, becomes a crown. Just like that other crown that midlife women get. Oh, I'm so busy. I
Yeah.
never sleep. Now, I don't sleep a lot. But I don't think of it as a crown. I'm not happy about it.
Right.
Okay. It's just a habit. But sometimes we take these things on and we think that they make us good. They make us better. That's what gives us our importance. And your importance can never come from externally.
Mm.
It can't. It can't come that way.
Making
So,
it a
yeah.
badge of honor that we do so much for everybody else constantly, but then we're forgetting to take care of ourselves.
I really hope that if you're hearing this conversation today, that you know that we're not judging anyone. We've
Mm.
lived through lots of stuff. We're not telling you all of our stuff today, but we've lived through it. And whether it's adult children, friends, even parents, allowing people to be responsible for their own mistakes, allowing them to be responsible for their own decisions, it does give dignity, it does add maturity, and it can change a relationship that's a little bit rocky and uneven and make it more beautiful if you allow it. But it's going to mean that you got to do a little bit of work. So since
Mm.
we're going to get into the work portion, Morgan, will you do a little grounding for us?
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, Chatone, we are definitely going to have to revisit that conversation again because there's so much more to say. I definitely believe that. So, in the meantime, though, let's go ahead and take a second and ground and tap. So, as we're getting ready to ground, you're more than welcome to go ahead and take off your shoes, place your feet firmly on the ground. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. So when we're breathing in, we're going to pull our shoulders all the way up with our breath. And then we're going to forcefully put them down as if we're dropping heavy luggage and putting it down on the floor next to us. Okay. So we're going to breathe in and out. And in and out. Now we're going to breathe in slowly and out and in and out. You can turn your head to the side, rolling your head around to the other shoulder, just releasing any tension that you might feel in your upper extremities. Softly breathing in and out. And just remember, you don't have to hold on to any of this right now. The whole purpose of this is to let it go. You can feel your legs, rub your hands on your legs for a moment. Feel the warmth and the heat, feel the pressure of your hips. Sitting firmly into your chair. Push your hands from your hips to your knees. And move all that energy from your hips all the way down your legs into the ground. And we're just going to take another deep breath in and out. And one more in and out. Now let's get started.
Okay, Morgan. Oh, I like just watching you. That's nice. Just in case you haven't received our winter edition of the Getting to After magazine, I'm going to put it right here so you can take a look at it. The tapping that we do, the grounding that we do, this work of settling your nervous system is all part of the magazine. Not all of it. Like, we don't just do deep work in there, but it's a big part of it because we believe that as midlife women, we have got to settle that nervous system. If you're on an up
Mhm.
ramp all the time, eventually you've got to come down. And the Getting to After magazine helps you do just that. And one of the most beautiful features in there, one of my favorite features, is called the breathing room. And that is where you get all things Morgan. And it's an audio. So you're not even visually distracted. You're able to literally just look at these beautiful pictures that we have, and you just be thinking about what she's saying and doing that work of grounding yourself. It's really beautiful how the breath is so important. Obviously, we breathe all the time, but it's this kind of measured breathing along with these actions, these somatic actions that really do help to settle your nervous system. So I know you need it because it's Tuesday morning. Like, I know you need it. Let me throw the link up real quick so you can see it. It's our winter magazine. It's bit.ly/G2A-winter. We're encouraging people to subscribe annually because when you get the subscription for just $20, you get 4 quarterly editions of the magazine. You'll get the winter one right away, and then starting in April, you'll get the spring one as well. The other thing that's really cool with a subscription of just $20 is that enables us to help women that are survivors of domestic violence and or in transition or living in shelters. And so if you've not heard us talk about the Empowerment Essential kits that we have, these self-care kits, this was one of Morgan's brainchildren, and it's been beautiful the way we've been able to help women going into court or going back to work or kind of transitioning from their home situation back into living in a more safe situation. It's been really, really beautiful. And so what we do is we take the proceeds of the magazine, and it helps us to create self-care kits for those women. And so
Mhm.
please do consider subscribing. We have a couple benefits for you. First of all, again, for $20, you're going to get all 4. They're usually $10 a piece. You're able to get all 4 for $20. But then on top of that, you're able to, when you sign up, get a magazine to someone else. So we give you the option of being able to pick whichever friend you have that you're like, I want to gift my girlfriend. It's like it's a triple win. So you get something awesome to read, watch, look on your phone, do the exercises with us. There's recipes, there's music, it's all the things. And really relax and get your self-care in. And you can do it right from the comfort of your phone. But then also, you know that you're helping this greater good of these women who really do need support. And then you can also give a gift to your girlfriend. I mean, to me, it's pretty much of a triple win. So make it
It's
happen. It's awesome. So let's go ahead and let's get into some tapping today on releasing responsibility. Morgan has us all grounded up. You should be feeling a little bit woo-sigh right now. And we're going to go ahead and get started with some tapping. All right, Morgan. All right. You doing some exercises over there? Are you getting ready?
stretch my back.
And everyone, we're about to do some tapping. And one of the things that, if you haven't watched us, I'm not going to go through everything every single time, but tapping is a way of pushing on these certain meridian points, certain pressure points throughout your body. So think acupuncture, but without the needles. And it's a way of talking to your entire body. We're going to do an episode probably in the next few months, I think maybe late April, where we talk about how the body really does listen. It's listening to everything. So you may have a pain and you just think, I'll just take a Tylenol, and then in an hour you still have that pain. A lot of times these things are receptors that are going on from other things, emotions, people you're carrying, stresses that you're carrying, and you can release them. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we do emotional freedom techniques. So I'm going to be tapping on the side of my hand. You can go ahead and start tapping right there. And one of the reasons why we start here is this is called the setup phrase, or the karate chop point you might see. If you decide to look it up, it's emotional freedom technique, so that you can see if we're doing it very well. We're doing it great, just so you know. All right, so I'm going to repeat something. You can repeat after me or after Morgan if you like, or you can just tap and not repeat. That's fine too. Okay. Even though I feel responsible for everyone's well-being,
Even though I feel responsible for everybody's well-being,
and it feels heavy in my body,
and it feels heavy in my body,
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I carry people mentally all day long,
even though I carry people mentally all day long,
and it's exhausting me.
and it's exhausting me.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself for who I am.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself for who I am,
even though letting go feels a little scary.
even though letting go feels a little scary.
And maybe it's even selfish.
Maybe it's even selfish.
Who would I be if I wasn't helping other people make their own decisions?
Who would I be if I wasn't helping other people make their decisions?
I'm afraid about that.
I'm afraid about that.
And yet I still accept myself deeply and completely.
And I still accept myself deeply and completely.
Beautiful. Okay, so you can stop tapping on the side of your hand, and what you can do, you notice how Morgan did that, just even, it's natural, that little rub of your hands. So what happens when you're tapping, you're going to start to feel certain things release. You may feel things in your throat, your stomach. You may notice you may need to burp. Different things will happen. But one of the reasons why is because we're getting at the root of some of the things that have been sitting with you and maybe you haven't had a chance or give voice to. And that's what we're going to try to do today. So we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and we're going to start by tapping on the eyebrow point. This weight I'm carrying.
This weight I'm carrying.
Side of eye. This responsibility I feel.
This responsibility I feel.
Under eye. It's a mental load.
It's a mental load.
Under nose. This fear of what will happen to them.
This fear of what will happen to them.
Chin. I have a habit of overgiving.
I have a habit of overgiving.
Collarbone. This urge to insert myself.
This urge to insert myself.
As if without me it won't work.
As if without me it won't work.
I feel this heaviness in my shoulders.
I feel this heaviness in my shoulders.
Underarm. This is exhaustion in my body.
This is exhaustion in my body.
I haven't been willing to give voice to it.
I haven't been willing to give voice to it.
But I'm tired.
But I'm tired.
Top of head. This heaviness I've been holding.
This heaviness I've been holding.
I'm addressing this heaviness that I've been holding.
I'm addressing this heaviness that I've been holding.
Good. Eyebrow. Maybe I learned that love means carrying others.
Maybe I learned that love means carrying others.
Side of eye. Maybe I learned that was the way to prevent chaos.
Maybe I learned that that was the way to prevent chaos.
I'm not sure I trust them to handle it.
I'm not sure I trust them to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Under nose. Will I be guilty if they fail?
Will I be guilty if they fail?
Chin. Something feels safe when I do this.
Something feels safe when I do this.
Collarbone. I'm acknowledging this pattern.
I am acknowledging this pattern.
It once protected my identity.
It once protected my identity.
Underarm. Maybe it's time to grow past it.
Maybe it's time to grow past it.
Top of head. Maybe I can release what isn't mine.
Maybe I can release what isn't mine.
Okay, gently stop tapping. Let's take a deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And just for a second, feel if anything came up in your body. Do you feel any pain anywhere? Maybe your belly's talking back to you. Maybe you feel something in your throat. Just notice. We're not fixing. We're not judging. Just notice if any of that resonated in your body. And if it didn't, that's fine too. If it did, We're going to roll our shoulders up, back, around, and down. And just release anything that might have come up that felt uncomfortable. Kind of roll your head from side to side. You might hear a little movement in your neck. Again, remember, our body is all connected to that spinal column. So when things start to release, we want to just go ahead and allow it to happen. Okay. Good. Good. Drink some water. I'm going to drink some too, Morgan. You're right. Always forget when we're tapping, having a little water by your side is so important. Our bodies, of course, are made of water, but so often when we're releasing toxins, deep in the cell. So you need that water to help you. The other thing I want to mention, even before we finish tapping, Morgan, is that if you're watching us either live or on the replay, and something starts to feel unsafe for you because you start to really delve into, you start to feel a little bit of a panic, you can kind of gently stop tapping or stop repeating everything we're saying, or you can just do the points on your body while doing some deep breaths. And then remember, you can also get one-on-one appointments with us, because sometimes tapping will bring you deep into some trauma. It'll bring you deep into something that comes up for you that you forgot. And many times in midlife, the reason why we're behaving the way we're behaving is because something that's coming forward from the past. So you can always meet with Morgan or myself one-on-one, and we can help you work through that. All right. All right, let's go ahead back to our IRAP point. Adults are allowed to choose.
Adults are allowed to choose.
Side of eye. If I step back with dignity.
If I step back with dignity.
Under eye. If I conserve my energy.
If I conserve my energy.
Under nose. If I stop carrying them.
If I stop carrying them.
I can preserve myself.
I can preserve myself.
Chin. What if I let them walk their own path?
What if I let them walk their own path?
Collarbone. What might they learn?
What might they learn?
Am I stopping them from learning the lesson they need?
Am I stopping them from learning the lesson that they need?
What lesson am I learning?
What lesson am I learning?
Underarm. Can I focus on my own growth?
Can I focus on my own growth?
So I'm allowed to choose for myself.
So I'm allowed to choose for myself.
Top of head. How does that feel in my body?
How does that feel in my body?
Am I worth it feeling good in my body?
Am I worth it feeling good in my body?
Eyebrow. I am worth it feeling good in my body.
I am worth it feeling good in my body.
Side of eye. I'm allowed to release what isn't mine to control.
I'm allowed to release what isn't mine to control.
Under eye. I'm allowed to stop over-functioning for others.
I'm allowed to stop over-functioning for others.
For other adults.
For other adults.
Even my children.
Even my children.
Under nose. I'm allowed to trust others to make their own decisions.
I'm allowed to trust others to make their own decisions.
I don't always have to insert myself.
I don't always have to insert myself.
Chin. I give myself permission to protect my own peace.
I give myself permission to protect my own peace.
Collarbone. I'm allowed to feel enough even if I'm not giving.
I'm allowed to feel enough even if I'm not giving.
Underarm. I give myself permission to live my own life.
I give myself permission to live my own life.
Top of head. And allow others to make decisions to live their own lives too.
And allow others to make decisions to live their own lives too.
Beautiful. Okay, stop tapping. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. And allow that to just release. Last week we did this motion with our hands. I'd like you to do that. Bring some warmth back into you. Again, you might be feeling warm right now. You may have chills, I'm not sure. The deeper your feelings, or if it feels like you're still in the midst of having deep feelings, you may want to go ahead and revisit this tapping. You may want to go ahead and revisit one more last deep breath in. And out. Excellent. Excellent.
There's something so powerful about allowing others to learn.
Yeah.
Right? So this whole time we can be thinking by helping them, we're teaching them, but we're actually taking that away from them.
We're hindering, yeah.
This tapping was powerful on so many different levels, especially as a mother and allowing your children to figure things out and learn. And I really like how you said, one of the ones we tapped on was, yeah, just left me. I'm sorry. Yep, it's gone, but it was good. I do know that because I remember like pausing. It hit so
But
deep.
you know what's so good about that? The thing is, so understand, and for those of you who are watching and have never really tapped before, and we always do like this after tapping chat, you may not do that with us if you're in one of our circles or with a practitioner. We do it because this tapping isn't always, for the most part, it's not for us. It's things that we know are out in the atmosphere that need to be discussed, things clients are talking about, or things we're seeing, in the news, things that people need, specifically for midlife women. But the thing is that when you tap, the goal is not to go back. The goal is to go forward. And so you release it. And that's why you can't remember. You're like, oh, that was something, but I don't remember. It's gone. It's released. That's the goal. The goal is to release. And so many times in different modalities of therapy, you're going back and back and back and back and back. And then you're haunted for a whole week between the one session and the next. That's not what tapping's all about. We are here to help you to release things. And once they're released, the goal is that they're gone. That's the goal, right? And people are always kind of fascinated with tapping. It's like, oh, can you really let go of something, in 10, 15 minutes? Yeah, because it's from your body. It's not from your mind. And the thing that I love when I'm in a session is that I don't have to think.
Yeah.
I don't have to think. If they ask me questions and I'm in the middle of it, it's just, and when you're working with us, we usually do record the sessions if you want to go back, because there's a little tidbit in there that you're like, oh, I need to go deeper on that. But you're so not in that particular moment that you forget. So we do always record our sessions with you. And of course, they don't get shared. But, this is a way for you to notice yourself. What am I noticing? How did my body feel? Different things like that. So that not only can you release them, you can know, is there something else deeper that you didn't get at yet? So that's one of the benefits of tapping as well. So
the thing I like about recording our sessions for your own personal, for yourself, is that when you decide to go back and journal on it, when it helps you so much because you can actually visually see a response in you, and it's like, okay, well, that there's something like let's rewind. Let's rewind.
Just
Go Yep.
Yeah, it's true. It's just powerful. So we really hope that this one resonated with you, that it was something that helped you. Many times in midlife, we're just living with so much guilt for so many things, and we're working on so many things. And unfortunately, we work on the things that are top of mind. So you're having a hot flash, you're trying to get the hormone. I just read today that a woman was saying that menopause or perimenopause has brought in frozen shoulder. And I said, is that what's wrong with my shoulder? Because for some reason, recently my left shoulder is just in pain all the time. And I'm like, I'm not working out like that. Like, what is going on? I don't know. I got to look it up, Morgan, to see if that's even a thing. But the bottom line is that we deal with the thing that's at the top of mind. If you're having problems with going to the bathroom, you're going to work on that thing. If you're having problems with headaches, you're going to work. If you're having problems with sleeping. But sometimes these deeper things, why aren't you sleeping? Oh, it's
Mm.
because you've been carrying somebody all day. Okay. Why do you have a headache? It isn't perimenopause, it's peri your son. I'm just saying, like, it's, sometimes it's not what we think. And these kind of sessions and doing this with us, showing up to the podcast every week, help you to get at the root so that you can kind of pull things out and move forward. So I love it. I love it. So listen, just remember this, having someone's back does not mean you have to carry them on your back. We love having each other's back. I love having someone's back. I love people knowing, that's how I love people knowing that they can count on me, but there's a difference between that and me becoming responsible. So is it time to stop being responsible? You have to figure that out for yourself. What's your final words, Miss Morgan?
Let them feel empowered. Like, don't take that away from them. Let them know that they're capable of accomplishing it on their own, because then that gives them a sense of pride and self-esteem.
And if it doesn't, because it may not, that's okay too. That's okay too. You might need to give back to yourself the pride and self-esteem, because you're not carrying someone else and you can take care of your own responsibilities. So we love being here for you. Let me just put this link up one more time so you remember that you can always get our magazine. Let me put this link up for you. It is available, the Getting to After magazine. You don't want to miss this episode, you don't want to miss this edition. It'll give you, if you subscribe for $20, you'll get it for the entire year. And there's also great tappings in there that you need right now. You can always use them at different times, but they're just-in-time tappings right in the magazine. We will see you next time, next Tuesday, 8 a.m. Eastern. But until then, be authentic, be brilliant, and be the catalyst. We love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.